why I want to go back to the solitary in the prison. I'm gonna give you two
Sure.
stories that have happened that have come to light recently. So we have private prisons here in the United States, which I don't know if they have those in Canada or not. But there was a case where a judge, and he's already been found guilty, and I think he's sentenced like 26 years in prison. But this was a judge who basically was getting paid by the owner, the developer of the prison, to sentence youth to jail. These were crimes that were completely unjust. We're talking about a kid who maybe walked into an electronics store and stole a CD player and somehow gets a year and a half in prison. And so for every head that he was able to put into that private prison, he got a kickback. And this accumulated to well over $1 million over the course of about 7 years. And he sentenced about 4,000 to 5,000 people, and during that time frame. And after the whole court findings, whatever came out, it was, I think, only 1,000 of the total people that were imprisoned were remained in prison. The rest were set free because they were found to be unjust imprisonments and unjust sentences. So that just shows you, it gets back to answering that one question. Well, how is it that, why is it that we have the most people in our prisons in the entire globe? Well, that could be one. There's that old saying, follow the money, especially in this country. Another really disturbing case that I read, and this was sadly, this was in my home state of Massachusetts, which is actually where I'm originally from. There was a prosecutor and a government chemist, and this government chemist was basically paid by this prosecutor to taint evidence. And this evidence that got tainted, I mean, we're talking about thousands of innocent kids, mostly inner city, mostly mostly men of color,
Yeah.
people of poverty, because they're looked at as indispensable.
Jeez.
Right? And you to think, this chemist was an MIT chemist. I mean, all the great credentials and working as a government chemist, and then you have this high-profile prosecutor, and to think of the orchestration that's going on behind the scenes at the expense of young men's lives. I mean, you can't take that back. I'm sorry. You put me in jail for a year or two, you can never give me that back. You took a year of my life, And then I start thinking, well, I bet you one of those kids probably put up the wrong poster, and then they end up in solitary. You know what I mean? And so that is a major human rights issue that is going on in our country, and that deals with our prison systems. It's not just solitary. It's a larger thing, and I mean, it goes way up. But when you have a system that allows for private prisons that, it's a private business. So what do businesses want to do? They need to profit. So how do they profit? They need to, they need to make the money. So they get taxpayer money for every head that goes into that prison.
Wow.
What the hell kind of a business is that? I mean, and again, it's the worst evil because it's at the expense of someone's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like Apple using trick marketing to get me to buy an iPhone. Okay, well, they suckered me out of $300-400, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is people's lives, and that's something that needs to be brought to light. That's why we're working on this project, and I'm really glad that we can talk about this on this day, because this is stuff that people aren't aware of. This is stuff that I'm just finding out every day. I'm getting new information, and I'm just like, just when I think, oh, it couldn't get worse, it does. It does.
Sadly.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe at some of the stuff that is going on in our prison systems, and I'd be safe to bet that Canada's not too far off.
No.
Yeah.
We unfortunately, and sometimes fortunately, and sometimes unfortunately, the way that people learn is through duplication.
Yeah.
So there you go.